I cannot believe the news, and FPL managers also can't believe the news that there will be a double game week in double game week 25, but we don't know who the double game week could be for yet. We'll explain everything in this video. If you want all the latest FPL content and news, hit follow on this, hit subscribe on this page down below, and drop a like on the video as well if you do enjoy it. Starting off with the Liverpool news. Now, if Liverpool do win the Carabao Cup semi-final game, they're currently obviously 1-0 down to Spurs, as we know, and they are in the Carabao Cup semi-final. So if they progress to the final by beating Spurs, the game at Villa Park that they're planning to be playing against Aston Villa will be rescheduled for Wednesday, the 19th of February. So the game, as I said, was meant to be on the 29th, game week 29. But if they did win this Carabao Cup win, which we'll know in game week, well, just before game week 25, literally in the lead up, we'll be able to find out that result of the Liverpool versus Spurs game. That game would then get moved to game week 25, which is February the 19th, and they would double game week with Wolves. We'll discuss that in a second, but let's get on to the next potential double game week that's going to be coming. And that is, of course, for Spurs, who are Liverpool's opponents. So whoever wins out of that match between Liverpool and Spurs will be rearranged to Wednesday the 19th of February. So we don't know who it's going to be. Obviously, Liverpool or Spurs are going to double in game week 25. The winner of that match will be the team that doubles. So that'll be a double game week then for Fulham, and the double game week for Spurs if obviously Spurs do go on to beat Liverpool in the Carabao Cup, and then obviously Aston Villa as well. So if Liverpool do beat Spurs in the Carabao Cup semi-final, then Aston Villa would also double game week as well. So there's potential for either a Fulham and Tottenham double game week in game week 25, or an Aston Villa and Liverpool double game week as well. But that's not it as well. The Arsenal game as well could potentially go to a double game week 25 if Arsenal do knock out Newcastle. They have to obviously overturn a 2-0 deficit, so I don't think that'll be the case. I don't think Arsenal will be doubling, because I do think Newcastle should go through. But should Arsenal pull off an upset and then beat Newcastle, they would then get a double game week against Chelsea in double game week 25. So what does this mean? Let's have a look at everybody together. So here is, if Liverpool knock out Spurs, that would mean that Aston Villa would then double in game week 25. Aston Villa have Ipswich in double game in game week 25 as it is. And then if Liverpool knock out Spurs, then that game will be added on to game week 25. So that would mean that Aston Villa would then play Liverpool. So Aston Villa would play two matches. The chance in a knockout for Liverpool against Spurs is 62%. So Liverpool are the favourites going into the game against Spurs, despite being 1-0 down. So Liverpool, of course, then would have two double game weeks in a row. We're going to discuss triple captaincy. I'm going to discuss the all-important assistant managership after this, but then we'll let you know what I think of that. But Liverpool would then double in game week 24, obviously we know that. And then game week 25, if they knock out Spurs, they would have Wolves and Aston Villa as a double game week. So back-to-back double game weeks potentially for ARNE slot and for Liverpool. So this is if now Arsenal knock out Newcastle. Only a 16% chance, obviously they're 2-0 down. Arsenal and Chelsea would then both double game week. Chelsea playing Brighton and Arsenal, and then Arsenal will be playing Leicester and Chelsea. As I say, that is if Arsenal knock out Newcastle. Now you might be wondering, why are Newcastle not in this graphic? The reason why Newcastle aren't in it is because they don't play European football, and neither do Crystal Palace, where their opponents are. So the match would actually stay at game week. Well, the match would actually have to be rescheduled for a later day. It wouldn't be rescheduled for game week 25 with Newcastle if Newcastle do win. Now, going on to if Spurs knock out Liverpool, obviously they're 1-0 up. They're still not favourites for the match because it's Spurs at the end of the day. But Spurs then would double game week against Fulham, against United, which is their original fixture. So the Fulham fixture would get put into that Wednesday night, which means that Spurs would double game week against Man United, and then Fulham in double game week 25 if they knock out Liverpool. And then for Fulham, which is an interesting one, obviously we own Anthony Robinson, you might own a Raul Jimenez or a Nwobi. Potentially, if Spurs do knock out Liverpool, that would mean that Fulham do double game week then against Nottingham Forest at home and Tottenham at home. So there is going to be at least one double game week in game week 25 for Liverpool or for Tottenham. And then if Arsenal can overturn the result against Newcastle, which, as I say, it's quite unlikely, there could be then 4 teams doubling. But as I say, whoever the opponents are of Liverpool and Spurs will be doubling as well, which will be Fulham and Aston Villa. So definitely very, very interesting. And we're not going to be able to find this out until the start of game week 25. So it might just be best for you to hold your transfers, because we don't know who's going to be doubling out of these teams. We can't predict it. That Liverpool versus Spurs game is a very difficult one to predict. It really is a shame, because if Liverpool was smashing Spurs, I would be moving away from one of my Liverpool assets and putting my assistant manager straight on ARNE slot, but it's not guaranteed that Liverpool are going to go through in this Carabao Cup, although they are the favourites still. So let's discuss a triple captaincy. Obviously, a lot of people have got their triple captaincy currently set on Mohamed Salah against Bournemouth and Everton, which is very, very valid, but it's so difficult because if Liverpool do go on to knock out Spurs, that would mean that they in Game Week 25, Liverpool will be playing Wolves and Aston Villa, which you'd say is a better triple captain. Wolves at home is an unbelievable fixture, and adding Aston Villa to that, Salah's away record's been very good this season, and Aston Villa I do think is a better fixture than Bournemouth and Everton, I'm not going to lie, because Aston Villa aren't the best defensively. They haven't kept a lot of clean sheets over the course of the season, and I really do think Salah will get points in both of them matches. I'd be more confident in that double game week than the double game week 24. But obviously, we do not know if Liverpool are going to qualify or not. If you really believe that Liverpool are going to be knocking out Spurs in the Carabao Cup, then saving your triple captain could be the way to go. But ARNE slot as well, is it worth the gamble? Let's discuss. So ARNE slot, of course, has the double game week this week, and imagine if you put it on him this week, you have the double game week in 24, the double game week in 25, and then you probably just transfer him out in game week 26 when he's got Man City. And then, so you could definitely do that, and you get 3 game weeks out of him, and you actually get 5 fixtures for ARNE slot if Liverpool do qualify and get through to the Carabao Cup final. So you probably just move ARNE slot to maybe like an Areola for the final week, who I think might play Wolves at home, or you can move him to another manager who's got a good thing. I think Arteta plays against West Ham or Leicester or someone. So it's a really, really valid option. But the problem is that the majority of us, obviously myself included, we all already have a Liverpool triple. We've already got Cody Gakpo, we've already got Trent Alexander-Arnold, and we've already got Mo Salah. So that means you would have to use a transfer to move away from one of them players to then bring in ARNE slot as your assistant manager. I've got a lot of transfers and I could do that. I could absolutely gamble, but then I don't really want to get rid of Cody Gakpo ahead of the double, or I don't want to get rid of Trent ahead of the double. So I don't know. It's a difficult one. If you want to gamble, ARNE slot is a serious gamble at this point. Let me know what you're thinking of doing in the comment section down below. Drop a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.